Hello, I'm Christian. This video is to explain a bit about virtual reality and mixed reality. Often on Facebook I see people buying free full screens, and I always wonder why they spend so much money on something when with less they can have more. So in this video I will first show you how VR interact with the PC, what is virtual reality. Then I will show you what is mixed reality. I will show you also my setup and my PC. I also understand we are all here because we love aviation, but we do have all our own way to fulfill this passion. Some want to be an aircraft mechanic, others want to fly big jets, others like me prefer hand flying and sightseeing. But others just want the autopilot and perform difficult approaches. So the need to feel inside of an aircraft may not be the primary goal. But for the one like me, who want to feel like I am flying the real thing, VR is the way to go. But with time and conversation on Facebook, it seems there's a lot of misconception about VR and mixed reality. Of course, in the middle of all this old-fashioned person, you will always find an excuse on why VR is not good. First, let's talk about virtual reality. We all hear about it, but we did not all give the time to think about it. To make it simple, just imagine you're actually sitting in a real aircraft. When you turn your head left, right, up or down, you can see switches at the same distance from you there will be if you are actually sitting in a real aircraft. Imagine you are in a downwind getting ready to turn base. Your head keeps turning over your shoulder and back to your instruments. No delay, no button to press. It is like you are actually in a real aircraft. You can move in your seat. It doesn't matter what position you are on in the cockpit. All the instrument switches will be at the exact same position they would be if you were in the same position in a real aircraft. This freedom of movement for a simmer like me who search for experience first, it is like a dream. When I started to use VR, I started with dogfights, and I'm telling you, I felt sick the entire time. Virtual reality trick your mind so well that when you add power, for example, your body anticipates an acceleration, but there is no acceleration. Same with the G-forces. When you do a turn, your body expects the weight to increase on the seat, but nothing happens. That is where the most of us feel sick at the beginning. Now I can do aerobatic. I do not feel anything. My body is used to it. Unless you use the best VR headset on the market, the quality of the image will not be as sharp as the one you have on a 4K screen. Here we can see it is hard to tell what number it is. So you will have to bend forward to be able to see the number. So yes, the quality on the Quest 3 is not the best. But again, what is best? To be able to see clearly a number you do not really need, or the immersion experience. I let you choose. When I started to use VR, the biggest frustration was I need to find my hands. By that I mean I need to find my controllers to be able to perform an action, like getting the gear down or turning the landing light on. Sometimes my hand fell on the floor. I need to find it back, otherwise I cannot perform any action. So the first thing I did is to force myself to make sure every time I do not need my controllers, I put it back at the same place all the time. And with time, I do not even think about it. It became natural. Second was to create some muscle memories, either on a keyboard or on the location of my controllers, mouse, etc. This muscle memory, it is actually an aviation thing. Early in my commercial training, part of the training was to sit in an aircraft and with the eyes closed, to have the hand to go find the switches without looking at it. Most of us use hardware like FMS, autopilot, etc. And one of the misconceptions of VR is when you use VR, you will not be able to see or use your hardware. Right now, and I hope it's going to change in the near future, the only thing you cannot have in VR is the pop-up screen. All the other hardware can be used in VR. Some of my hardware, I use it without looking at it because muscle memory make me. I do not need to see it to use it, but still, sometimes you need to see your hardware. For that, we have a mixed reality. Using a pass-through capability of your VR headset. Caution, be aware, there's not that many headsets on the market with pass-through capable. The one I use is a Quest 3. To be able to use the pass-through capability of your VR and use it for mixed reality, you will need a fourth-party software. The one I use it is OpenKnee, but there is others on the market. OpenKnee, it is free, but you can do a donation to have these people who design and improve this program we all need. OpenKnee allow to create a space or windows inside the simulation for either showing a document like a checklist or creating a mixed reality inside the virtual cockpit. Now the only thing is to set your hardware at the location you want, create a windows at this location, and you can interact with your hardware without exit the virtual world. To pass from 2D to 3D, you have one command you will have to learn without looking at your keyboard, Control and Tab. To center the view, press Shift. To turn on or off the mixed reality, you will press Control. To center the windows of the mixed reality, you will have to press the space bar. I memorize a reference point on the cockpit. I line up this reference point with the corner of one of my windows. For that, I move my head and press the space bar until it is aligned. Often, I hear, yes, but to run VR you need a very big computer. Yes and no. Yes, you need a computer with a good graphic card. But no, you do not need a $5,000 GPU. I am not qualified to tell you what do you need or what the minimum requirement is for VR. Here I'm showing the spec on my PC. Knowing my PC it can be less powerful and will still be able to run a VR. My VR is connected to the PC via AirLink. I do not use a cable because somehow, even with a good cable, the quality is not great. But using Virtual Desktop to link the game to my VR right now seems to be the best option. Virtual Desktop also allow you to set some parameters for your mixed reality. One of the big problems with VR is you are limited on how long you can fly because it runs with battery. I first use battery pack, but it is hot and give you only 2-3 hours use, what is not bad. But if you want to do a multiple session or a very long flight, you will have to wait for the battery to recharge. What I have is a Kiwi Link cable. I do not use the cable to link the headset to the PC, but as a power supply for the headset. With that, I have unlimited use of my headset. I hope I answered some of your questions you may have. If not, leave a comment below and hopefully I will be back to you quickly.